Yesterday, Team USA rallied a comeback against Serbia after being down 15 points at half and 20 going into the fourth quarter. Leading the torch was Steph Curry with the second most points in USA Olympic history, dropping 36 points, shooting 64% from the field. LeBron James dropping a 16-point triple-double, and KD dropping the dagger to put the nail in the coffin. With this win, they will be playing Wembley in France for the gold medal this Saturday. Malachi, I'm going to start with you. How big is Bron, Steph, and KD's impact on this Olympic team?
I think the impact is very high with those three guys. I think that going into the Olympics, that was always the intent, was for them to have high impact. And I think that based off of the promotion, what USA Basketball wanted to happen, that is basically going according to plan. Is that the right course of action? I don't really know. Like I asked you guys prior to recording this video, post this game, what is the message that is being implicated through building this collection of team who people are saying going into the Olympics is the greatest team ever assembled? Was putting this team together to say that LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant are still great? I mean, we already knew that. They've been having great seasons. Now, they had the requisite playoff success? No, but they have been having great seasons at an older age. I'm not really, I just want to know, and I want to get this figured out today or in the near days, especially when they do win the gold. What is the overall narrative? What is the overall discussion about this team? When they win the gold, what are we going to say about this team? Are we going to say that this team was the greatest collection of talent? Because it seems like we're only talking about three guys. Are we going to talk about this team being dominant or this team putting the world on notice? Because a lot of these games have been very, very close. So I just want to know, what is the overall discussion? What is the future outlook? Because I also thought that another point of this team were the fact that you had two potential faces of the league. And Anthony Edwards, he has shown promise, even though he has been rather inconsistent throughout the Olympics, but he has shown promise. Tatum has not really been a factor at all. He goose-egged this game in terms of minutes. He wasn't able to provide us with anything. And there, of course, has been a lot of Tatum slander and backlash, but my biggest thing is I can't even really critique Tatum because he hasn't played very much. So I just want to know, what is the future outlook? That is a question that I have for you guys going into 2028, which will be in Los Angeles. What message did this current team of 2024, what did they send? Because if I'm going to be honest, and that's something that I will continue to do, is be honest, they haven't showed me, unless LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant are going to be representing us in the 2028 Olympics, and they are going to continue to provide the same level of production that they are currently, they have not showed me that gold in 2028 is a lock. But I do think that they will beat France and win the gold. I do think that that game will be rather competitive. I don't know if it will be as competitive as this game against Serbia, because I do believe that when you see a team multiple times, they have seen Serbia 3 times, and Serbia may have not have been showing all of their cards. I did say that in the first 2 matches that they probably weren't showing all of their cards, and it is tough to continue to beat a team 3 times over. So I did think that this was going to be probably the toughest match that USA faced. But I am expecting a battle. Gold is on the line. France, Wemby, of those boys, they will be at home. Basically, they have home court advantage, if you could say that, for an Olympics. So that crowd will be ready. Wemby is continuing to gain confidence, and that team, they believe that they can win. They've probably seen some lapses, some weaknesses with Team USA, even though they do have a superstar-studded roster. But they probably see things that they can implement. They probably see ways that they can attack Team USA. And if they're hot from the perimeter, they're hot from outside from 3, then they have a good shot. Once again, at Serbia, they started off shooting the lights out, but they kind of lost a little steam going into the fourth quarter, and they lost that double-digit lead, which led in LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant corralling and getting that victory for this team, as well as Devin Booker hitting a big 3 in the fourth quarter. And of course, Joel Embiid showing up. He's been relatively playing well the last few games. I guess he's became accustomed to FIBA basketball, or maybe his ass has gotten into shape. Whatever excuse that Embiid fans want to make, he's definitely stepped it up, and I'm happy to see that. Even once again, and I've been saying this since he was on the roster, I don't really understand why he's on the team. But all in all, it was a great win. I heard guys like Kevin Durant and LeBron James saying that it was some of the best basketball they competed in, and they showed that. This was a hard-fought game, very entertaining. I don't know if I was impressed, but I was entertained.
Yeah, after watching this game, Embiid, he was definitely cooking. He was going off for sure. Steph Curry, you know, he was leading the torch. I did see a couple of tweets and stuff. They were kind of getting mad at how Steve Kerr had took, you know, Steph out in the first quarter when he could have had like 20 already. But I mean, if anything that we've seen and learned for going into 2028, we've learned that Steve Kerr, he can't coach. He's a terrible coach. And it's showing. It shows that he's just basically getting bailed out. So, I mean, he's just kind of, you know, hiding, even though he really can't coach for nothing. I don't see why there's a problem, why there's no way you can't play Jason Tatum or Tyrese Halliburton. Now, this is a hypothetical saying. Say they didn't beat Serbia. The backlash would have been, oh, you don't want to play Jason Tatum. And look what happened. Y'all lost. You know, Team USA got the dub. But looking at it, I still don't see why Jason Tatum can't play. There really wasn't nothing coming off the bench except for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant had 9 points. The only other people to score was Anthony Edwards with 2 points and AD with 4. That was it. No Derek White, no Bam. Halliburton, he didn't play either. The bench, it was nowhere. The starters, they carried, they cooked. I just don't see what's going on in Steve Kerr's mind. And when someone asked him what was the rotations looking like for like Jason Tatum playing against France, he said, even if KD's healthy, he's not going to play Tatum. Once again, I'm still trying to figure out, Steve Kerr, what do you have against this man? He has the accolades. He has done more at the age of 27 than LeBron, MJ, and Steph Curry. What do you have against this dude? Is it just because he's light skinned? Like, I'm trying to figure it out for real. One thing I do that was hilarious was Bojan Bogdanovic. He hit Melo 3-point celebration right in his face. And LeBron said he took that personal. LeBron said, I got you. That was hilarious. He poked the bear right there. KD, even though, you know, he's like quiet and Steph for going into the fourth quarter, you know, he hit that 4-point play, then he had that dagger. So KD, when it mattered most, he delivered. Steph Curry, quote unquote, this is their end game.
Well, I don't know about easy dope against France. I think France is kind of a team that's kind of, you know, they're differently built to construct to defeat the Team USA if they play them. You know, they rely heavily on their bigs. Recently, they have been benching Gobert, which I kind of do like because I don't really like Gobert and FIBA play. I don't like Gobert and NBA play. So I feel like and I feel like they've been doing better. Like playing Wemby at the 5 instead of the 4, I feel like playing Wemby at the 4 was just way too congested. And, you know, he's been shooting turdays like he's a little baby, man. Like I think he was 4-17 last game. He hasn't been shooting that well. I don't think he's been playing that well this entire Olympics. I think he still has a couple flaws in his game. Like people don't realize this, but he's really an overrated defender. People just look at the blocks and like they be like, okay, and they look at the intimidation factor, which he does have. Like on the fast break, I remember that highlight of it was like a 3-on-1 or 2-on-1 fast break and they leave passed up for a 3. You know, he's an overrated defender in my opinion. Hopefully he gets better with that in the future. You know, I wasn't really that disappointed when Rudy Gobert took home the defense player. Yeah, I think it should have gone to like Bam or AD. I don't think Team USA should be that worried about France, although I do think it will be a cakewalk. But going off of the other day's performance, I felt like it was a really good performance by Team USA. Wasn't really impressed either. Steph Curry finally came alive, which I thought was a big story. You know, 36 points, you know, finally activated. He had like 17 points in the first quarter and he had like 6 threes. So he was definitely carrying the torch, no pun intended. I thought it was a great moment for the first unit because first unit has gone these slow starts and they got onto like another slow start this game. They put the second unit in, the bench unit with D White, KD, and Bam, and AD, and those guys never really got off, which I thought was really, really irritating. It's like once it got to like third quarter, they cut the lead down to like 5 or 6, and Steve Kerr put back in that lineup, and then that lineup got like the lead started extending out to 16 points, 15, 16 points. So that's why I was confused. Steve Kerr, like, do you see the lineup that's out there? At least put in Tyrese Halliburton because they weren't even getting good shots. They were just resorting to ISO ball. Anthony Edwards played terrible. You know, for people to say Anthony Edwards is the best shooting guard in the league, I couldn't tell. The guy does not pass, ball watches 24/7. He gambled on like 2 or 3 passes that end up to open shots. You know, the blow-bys, you know, he's a good defender when he wants to lock in, but it's like, you know, he plays defense low-key a little bit like Luka Doncic, you know, where he just rip throughs, and it's like, that's not good defense, bro. You know, he had one where the dude blew by him and he had like a little chase down block when Devin Booker started to contest the shot, but he just hasn't really impressed me. And people are gonna look at the numbers and the field goal percentage, and people gonna be like, "Oh, well, the dude's leading the team in scoring." I don't think it's impressive. You know, when he gets out there and he gets the ball, it's like he's not looking to pass or anything. Like he's looking to be that guy. So for people on social media to say that he should be starting over Devin Booker, which just seems crazy in my opinion. Like, are you watching the game? Like Devin Booker is a better off the ball player and and he's been a stronger defender in my opinion, on the ball and off the ball, like fighting through screens. And he's their glue guy in that starting lineup. Like he kind of makes everything fit. He just plays a role where everybody wants. LeBron James wants to take over. Steph wanted to take over late in the game. He just plays his role. That was kind of confusing to me. Steve Kerr, he didn't at least put in Tyrese Halliburton. I somewhat get not playing Jason Tatum because he didn't play Jason Tatum in the first game against Serbia. Okay, I can somewhat get that. But not putting Tyrese Halliburton in when they couldn't even buy a basket, get a good look. Tyrese Halliburton is a really good playmaker. Please put him in the game. If your concern is defense, the defense side of the ball wasn't really hindering the second unit. So I thought that was just kind of idiotic by Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, as Dennis Rodman said, he's just out there on the floor. He's not really doing anything. He's just switching rotations. It'll be the first unit, second unit. You just stick with that. He won't even make any adjustments. The big three showed out tonight. Bron James. I feel like his defense on Nikola Jokic was pretty good late in the fourth quarter. He seems like the only guy that can kind of body up with him a little bit. Steph Curry went nuclear the entire game. He was keeping them in the game because they really should have got blown out in that game if Steph Curry doesn't play well. And then Kevin Durant with the dagger at the end. It's kind of bad because those three guys, they're so great. But Team USA, they're going to have to really look forward to these newer guys, and especially in this next Olympics, because this is going to be the only time, you're really going to be using Embiid, KD, LeBron, Steph. This is really the only time, and probably Jason Tatum too. If I'm Jason Tatum, I wouldn't even show up to the next Olympics. For what? Drew Holiday too. It's going to be the last year for these guys playing in the Olympics. So Team USA, in my opinion, is really doing a disservice to the younger guys. But we'll see once that time comes around. I think it'll be very, very interesting seeing, the shoulders on Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, and those guys in 2028.
I agree pretty much with everything that CJ said. I do think that Anthony Edwards is becoming, and I love Anthony Edwards. I think he's a phenomenal player. He's becoming one of the more overhyped and overrated players in the National Basketball Association because of what he's being built up to be, and hasn't really done a whole lot. And as CJ said, has lapses in his game. And then that goes into the Steve Kerr element of it, which is the fact that, as I've been saying, he does not know what he's doing. It is easy to win championships when you have Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and then you add a Kevin Durant and you have Andre Iguodala. And then after Kevin Durant leaves, you inherit an Andrew Wiggins, a Jordan Poole. It's easy to win championships when you have the most talent. If anything, all that is about is taking away your ego and managing the egos. Does he do a good job of that? Yes, I think that's probably the biggest attribute of Steve Kerr, is that he can manage egos relatively if they're within his own team. But actually coaching X's and O's, all he does is sub out guys. Like the Jason Tatum thing, I think that I don't know if it has anything to do with him being light-skinned, because his best player is light-skinned and Stephen Curry. I think it has more so to do with Tatum's personality and him not thinking that Tatum is deserving to be on the same level as a LeBron, a KD, a Steph. Even though if we just look at what they've done over the past few seasons, Tatum is the better player. He's better than all of those guys right now. I would not go to 2028 Olympics if I'm Jason Tatum. I've basically just been disrespected and embarrassed through the duration of this Olympic play. And I know a lot of people, Chris Broussard, are saying that it doesn't matter. It's about getting a gold medal. But at the end of the day, why am I here? Like I was talking to a friend at work. He was like, well, you're getting paid. These guys are not getting paid. Jason Tatum is basically, after winning the NBA championship, is basically taking his summer off to go and play, to go overseas where he could be resting, because he played until June. He could be resting, he could be training, getting ready for the next season. He's taking his summer off to go and help this team win a gold. Do you think that he came over there, one of the best players in the world, to not play? And also, it wouldn't even be a problem if he wasn't playing and the coverage wasn't as bad. He's getting killed in the media. He's getting killed on social media because he already has a pretty polarizing image in the NBA community. People that already don't like Tatum, already don't like the Boston Celtics, already don't like Jaylen Brown. When they notice that he is not playing, they're going to take that opportunity to ridicule him and to embarrass him. And Steve Kerr is playing into that. Derek White is playing. He's playing and I'm not. Drew Holiday, who pretty much a role player on a team that won the championship, is starting and I'm not playing. And so it just doesn't make any sense from the standpoint of Tatum is one of the best players in the NBA. And he honestly, if we really want to be honest, if we just evaluate the past few seasons, he is the best American player. And the fact that he's just not playing is ridiculous. And I don't know what the outlook or what the future of USA basketball really is, because like Caleb and I both said, Steph Curry, LeBron, those guys are not going to be there in 2028. The only person I can see actually playing in 2028 is Kevin Durant. Joel Embiid most likely is not going to be on that team. So you are depending on Anthony Edwards, who he has a lot of growing to do from a mental standpoint, his mental makeup as well as his play. Jason Tatum, who has gotten humiliated and is probably not going to play for you. Tyrese Halliburton, who you haven't been playing. Who else do you have? Zion Williamson, John Morant? There are so many question marks around the American-born players that I don't know where they go from here. And that's why I will ask Jalen you this question. What do you think is the future outlook of USA basketball, as well as just the American-born players? Because at the end of the day, people want to poo-poo Nikola Jokic and Serbia and what they did. What they did was relatively remarkable. The fact they were even able to be leading by double digits on a team that people have been calling the greatest team ever. And the fact that Jokic, while LeBron did play good defense on him, is receiving help side defense from a Joel Embiid and is getting double and triple teamed throughout the course of the game. And his impact is still being felt to a point where they were leading by 17 points at one point against the 12 quote unquote greatest players in the world. I'll ask you, Jalen, what is the outlook? What does the future look like for USA basketball?
That's a great question. I can't really give you the best answer because, you know, you look at 2028, you're not going to have Steph, you're not going to have Bron. You might have KD. You're probably not going to have Joel Embiid. When you're looking at the 2028 roster, it's going to have to start with that coach. Because if Steve Kerr is that coach, you probably going to lose a lot of guys off the rip. Jason Tatum probably not going to come back after he's been disrespected like this, because he basically wasted his summer when he could have been, you know, back at home with his family, you know, getting better. Jaylen Brown, he got humiliated because 3 of his teammates on there when he deservingly should have been on there. Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, he might come back. You know, it seems like he's just enjoying the moment and being there. So you might see him, but you know, other guys like Zion, you know, he's someone that's injury prone. We don't know if he's going to be able to be available to play. You know, we got Ja, stuff like that. Looking towards the future, I don't know how bright it's going to be because I don't know, you know, what they're going to do. The talent is there. I definitely believe so. But the competition, it'll probably grow. You know, it's going to depend on how this roster is constructed, who the coach is, how he's going to play these guys, how he's going to deal with these guys, and if they can live up to what this current 2024 roster is.